Abdullah Abdurrahman, can you come to the front? Yes, please. Yes, both Abdurrahmans. If you guys don't mind.
One minute here, check your Go ahead. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about violence against women today. Me and my group, Mariam, Reem, Numa, and Hajar. We would also appreciate it if you guys are active in discussions. We might ask you a few questions. Okay, so the outline for today, first we're going to define violence. What's violence? We have some statistics from the MENA region and the USA. We have mental and physical effects of violence against women, some laws and regulations related to violence against women in MENA and in the USA, and last, education and awareness and its role to prevent violence against women. Okay, so I want you to think about what comes to your mind when you first hear the word violence. You can shout out answers. The first word, the first thing that comes to your mind.
Hitting.
Hitting.
A slap.
Slap.
Killing.
Killing.
Harassment.
Harassment.
Bad words.
Bad words. Okay.
Television.
I'm sorry?
Television.
Television.
Pain.
Interesting.
Pain.
Pain.
Police.
Police.
Blood.
Blood.
Criminal.
Okay. Okay, so can someone maybe try to define violence? Your own understanding. What's violence?
Like hurting someone.
Okay, hurting someone.
In some way or another.
Okay. So the definition we got from Merriam-Webster's dictionary is the use of physical force to harm someone or damage property. What do you think of this definition?
I don't agree with it.
You don't agree? Why?
Because it says only physical force.
Okay.
And you can hurt someone with your mouth, with your words.
Okay, so it's not just physical force.
Yeah.
Dr. did you want to say something?
I was going to say the same. It's not
Okay.
only physical.
Okay, so it's not detailed enough? Okay, let's look at the second definition from the World Health Organization. Can someone read this for me, please? Tara?
The international use of physical force or power, threatened or actual against oneself, another person or against a group or community, that either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation.
What do you guys think of this definition? Do you think it's detailed enough?
Yeah.
What do you think violence against a group or community means? Can someone give me an example?
Stereotypes.
Stereotyping.
Minority.
Minorities. Okay. So since we're talking about violence against women, can you guys probably edit these definitions or mesh them up in order to define violence against women? Anyone want to give it a try? No?
I would have it all.
All? Okay. Okay, so the UN defined violence against women as any act of gender-based violence that results in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or mental harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts, pressure, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or private life. Do you guys know what arbitrary deprivation of liberty means? What does the word arbitrary mean?
In an injustice way.
A random way, for no reason. Okay, and do you know why they included threats of acts? Why is threats of acts, why is it under violence as well? You're only threatening the person. I'm only telling you
It's
what
a
I'm
way
going
of
to tell
violence.
you.
Because
Why is
that-
it the type of
there
violence?
are results of threats. So
Exactly, because it results in harm or suffering. The victim will be suffering or thinking about this thing the whole time. Okay. So, anything to add to this definition maybe? No? Okay. So, in a very general way, let's talk about some types of violence. There is stalking, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and domestic violence. Stalking first. Who knows what stalking means? Yes.
Following.
Following someone.
Shouting bad words at someone.
Shouting bad words at someone. So basically, it's being around someone.
Is that online harassment as well?
Yes, yes. Because it's being around someone who doesn't want you to be around. Like following them to work, sending them messages, sending them unwanted gifts. That's all a type of stalking. And do you know why it's under violence? Again?
because it causes harm as
You're not
well.
feeling safe.
It causes harm and it causes the victim not to feel safe. How about emotional abuse? Do you remember what we talked about in women's community? How can emotional abuse take place?
Like the person may go crazy after you.
Like make use of you because you love him, he tries you to make use of you.
Exactly. So,
Maybe in an indirect way.
in an indirect way.
It could be manipulation at the same time.
Exactly, manipulation. So you use this person, you use their love for you or their affection towards you in a very twisted way. So I can tell someone after a fight that this is all your fault. You know I love you, but you're making me do this. So the victim thinks in their head that this is all my fault. This person really loves me and they're doing this for my own good. Sexual abuse, I think, speaks for itself. It could be rape, it could be sexual harassment, using words, using touching or whatever, or even in the frame of marriage, there's also marital rape and domestic violence. What do you think about domestic violence? Some examples?
You have just said one.
I'm sorry?
You have just said one, like
Okay.
commercial rape.
Yes.
And
And
like-
does it only happen between a man and his wife?
No, it happens between the man and children, for example.
Yeah, children.
But since you're talking now about the women issues, so
Can it be a father and his daughter, maybe? A father and his daughter, a brother and a sister? Okay. So can you think of other types of violence? 30 seconds. Just think of some types of violence. Anything that occurs to your mind?
Maybe economic violence. If, for example, if the husband has to provide for his wife and he didn't, intentionally, it's kind of an economic violence.
Exactly.
Or verbal violence.
Verbal violence, using words. Anything else? Okay then. Let's move on.
What about indirect violence? Or indirect abuse? That, a husband goes after his mother-in-law, right, to make his wife suffer, or something like that. Or you go after somebody's daughter to make, the mother suffer.
Exactly. Exactly, yes. That's a very good point. Would you like to go about the statistics?
So I'm going to talk about the statistical violence against women in both the MENA region and the United States. So we're going to start by Morocco, my country. And so here there's a statistic that said 95.8% of violence against women in Morocco is caused by the victims' close relatives and mostly by their husbands. And also, it is more than 27,000 cases of violence were reported during the period of December 25 to October 26. This includes physical abuse, 3.8%, and sexual abuse, 9.2%. Let's move to Palestine. So there is a statistic that said 61% 23.7% of every married women are exposed to psychological violence. So there is 23.3% exposed to physical violence, 9% exposed to sexual violence, and at least once by their husbands in a year. 58% of every married women in secondary education and more, they were exposed to psychological violence too. 90% exposed to physical violence, 8.5% exposed to sexual violence, and at least once by the husband during the year. What can you compare between the statistic and the first one? Both talk about, concerning Palestine. Can you go back? Compare between the numbers, the statistics.
So the statistics in Palestine are more higher.
Yeah, they both in Palestine, but compare between the first statistic and the second one.